Hi, it's Lesley Fightmaster. Today's class is a fun flow class that goes to a pose called Grasshopper. It's a really weird looking pose, but super fun. So we're just going to start sitting with the shins crossed, and now I want you to switch the cross of your shins so the funny shin is in front, and then we'll stay here for a bit, grounding down and lengthening up. So I'm going to add in today a little bit of yoga philosophy. So keeping in mind today a couple of terms. There are Sanskrit words, abhyasa and vragya. Abhyasa means practice. It's usually translated as practice, but some have translated it as determined effort or discipline. And vragya is non-attachment. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, vragya is the state in which one no longer thirsts for either earthly objects or spiritual attachments. So viragya could also be thought of as releasing or surrendering or letting go. So in our practice today, we will do our best and show up, which is abhyasa, but then we'll let go of any results or any ideas of how we think the practice should go, and that is viragya. So as we're sitting here nice and tall, I want to remind you, if you would like to learn to be a yoga teacher or you want to deepen your practice, please leave me a comment below. And I'd also love for you to inhale and reach your arms out, around, and up, spinning the triceps in toward each other. As you exhale, we're going to take the right hand to the left knee, the left hand behind, and twist. So every time you inhale, sit up nice and tall, lengthen. And then every time you exhale, see if perhaps you could twist a little bit more, rolling the left shoulder open. Keep the belly lifted, and then come back to center. Reach the arms up again on your inhale. And then exhale, left hand to right knee, right hand behind. Sitting up tall every inhale to lengthen up. And exhale, maybe twisting a little bit more. And the twists come from the waist up. So our hips are nice and level. When we're sitting here, it's easy to keep the hips level. But when we get to some poses in the future of this practice, it's a little harder. Then bring your hands forward, inhale to lengthen, and then exhale to extend. So we'll stretch out the hips and the low back a little bit. So when we do get to some of those twists that are a little bit deeper later on in our practice, we'll remember about how we want to keep our twists from the waist up. Inhale, lift your head, and exhale to release. And now we'll switch the cross, so it's the regular cross now for you. Reach your arms up, inhale, clasp your hands, face your palms up. And then as you exhale, you're going to turn to your left. Every time you inhale, see if you can sit up taller. And then as you exhale, you're twisting. Again, everything above the waist, but now you're just using all your internal muscles, so you don't have any external levers like your arms helping you twist. So you really have to use your obliques to twist. Inhale back through center, release your arms down, and then re-inhaling to extend up, interlacing the fingers, but with the other pinky in the front. And then as you exhale, we'll turn to the right. Try to keep the front ribs pulling in and lifting up through the back ribs as you make your twist. But as you're lengthening up really tall, still keep some softness right around your neck. Make sure your shoulders don't bunch up around your ears. Inhale, center. Exhale, fingertips in front. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, walk forward any amount. So if it doesn't work for you to walk so far forward, you just walk forward a little bit. Never matters how deep you get into a stretch. Just feel the stretch. Come on up on your inhale. And from here, we're just going to step right back into downward facing dog. Bend your knees and stick your buns way up in the air and try to press your chest to your thighs. So I'm lengthening out through the spine, and then we'll slowly start to straighten through the legs. And then, keeping that nice length we created in the spine, we'll begin to bicycle the legs. So bending one knee and the other, stretching out the hamstrings. Arms in line with the ears. Make sure that your arms are shoulder distance apart and your feet are hips width. Keep the belly drawn in and up. Start to stretch back into your downward facing dog. On your inhale, float your right leg up, and we'll open the hip, bend the knee, and take your right foot over toward the left side of the mat while pressing evenly through the arms, maybe way up onto the ball of the left foot to stretch out a little bit more. And then we'll take it back to center, squaring off the hips. And as you exhale, draw your knee in towards your nose, your thigh towards your belly, and hold for a moment. And then lightly step it up. Take your left knee to the floor. Now, if your knees are sensitive, you can pad it up by folding the side of your mat. Reach up on your inhale. As you exhale, sink forward. As you sink forward, continue to pull the right hip back and lift your low belly. Left hip is sending forward, so you're squaring up hips and shoulders toward the front. Left hand to the floor. Now turn and reach up through your right fingertips. I didn't use any props this time, but if it's hard to reach the floor with your left hand, you can always put a yoga block underneath it. Soften through the shoulder blades. Let's come back to center, tucking the back toes, and come forward, or step back, to plank. And then we'll slowly lower all the way down. Feel free to put your knees down first if you like. Inhale for cobra, peeling the chest up. Spin your inner thighs up toward the ceiling. Draw the shoulder blades toward the waist. And then as you exhale, press all the way up to plank and then lift the hips to down dog. And you're welcome to keep the knees down as you lift up. Left leg up, inhale. Exhale, open the hip and the knee. Again, pressing evenly through the arms. And I'm reaching my right heel toward the floor, but then I could also pick it up and come way up onto the ball of the right foot. That feels nice too. Looking forward, draw your leg in so you're pressing away from the floor and firming the outer upper arms in towards center. And then lightly step the left foot up by the left hand. Right knee comes down. Come on up for your low lunge. Please pad up the right knee if it needs any padding. Sinking the hips. If you have a yoga blanket, you can always pad up the knee with that as well. Spin the triceps toward each other in the arms. Draw the front ribs in. Draw the belly in. Right hand to the floor. And then we're making the twist. So again, I want the twist to be above the waist. So I'm going to sort of pull and drop down on my left hip to try and keep my hips level. Open through the chest, soften through the shoulder blades, and keep a steady, steady breath. Release the hand down and come into plank and lower chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, or you could take cobra pose if up dog doesn't feel very good for you anytime. And then exhale, downward dog. So you can always modify these poses. Take your knees down in chaturanga. Stick with cobra pose instead of upward facing dog. You never have to jump back or forward. Look to the hands. Step or hop your feet forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale to fold. On your inhale, root through the legs and reach all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart, samastitihi. And inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, we'll hinge from the hips to fold. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthen through the spine, crown of the head forward. And as you exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms, and we'll step back into plank. And shift forward about an inch, lower chaturanga, shoulders no lower than elbows. Then inhale, press through your hands and feet, roll the shoulder heads back. And as you exhale, back into down dog. So again, stretching back to lengthen. As you press down into the base of the fingers, lift through your forearms. And you try to spin your triceps toward the back of your mat and your biceps, your inner arms, toward the front of your mat. And then as you do, press a little extra weight into the thumb and first finger side of your hand so that your forearm doesn't spin back with your upper arm. Look forward to the hands and bend the knees, step or hop feet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold hips over the heels. Inhale, root down, rise all the way up. Firm the legs, stretch up tall, and then exhale, hands to heart. Inhale again, circle the arms up. And exhale, hinge from your hips to fold. Inhale, make a flat back. Exhale, keeping the gaze slightly forward, step or float back. If you do want to jump back, land in chaturanga with bent elbows. Inhaling to up dog or cobra. Exhaling back into down dog. So we don't want to jump back with straight arms because we could stress the elbow. We could also hurt the low back if we jump back and the low back arches every time. That's not good for it. So bent elbows much better. Keep your belly muscles engaged when you jump back. And pretty much keep your belly muscles lightly engaged through your practice. As you stretch back, lengthen the heels down toward the floor, although they never have to touch. Look up to the hands, bend the knees, hips high, step or jump feet to hands. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale and fold. Inhale, press down through your feet. Reach up and exhale, hands to the heart, Samastitihi. Inhale again, arms reach. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Inhale, lengthen, offer your heart. Exhale, step or float into Chaturanga. Inhaling up, open the whole front of your body. Exhale, make your way into down dog. Stretching back, float your right leg up. We'll bend the knee and open up the hip a second time. And then exhale, square off the hips. Looking forward, we're going to lightly, slowly step it up. Spin the back heel flat. Inhale to warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Knee over the ankle, right knee over the ankle. Drop the left arm to reverse your warrior. As you exhale, bend again into the right knee. Stretch out the whole side of the body. It's not a back bend. Inhale, come up to warrior two, shoulders right over the hips, knee in line with the ankle, and the front heel in line with the back arch. Lean forward, take your right forearm to your right thigh, and reach your left arm in line with your ear. You can keep forearm on thigh or take your right hand to the floor. Also try to spin your tricep down on the left arm so that your tricep is spinning toward the floor, pinky finger faces the floor, thumb faces the ceiling. On your inhale, make your way back to warrior two. As you exhale, windmill your arms down and step to plank and lower down. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhale back, downward dog. Left leg floats up, inhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Square off the hips on the exhale and step the left foot right between the hands, right in the middle. Spin your back heel flat, inhaling to warrior two. So again, you're lined up heel to arch, the knees over the ankle. Back toes are in slightly toward the front of the mat. Drop your right arm reverse. Rebend into the left knee. Soften through the shoulder blades. Come on up on your inhale, lean forward. So you're a little bit coming over your thigh. I held this one on this side a little bit longer, it looks like. Lean forward. Take your left forearm to your left thigh. Reach your right arm up and over. Spin your right tricep down. And then try to open your whole torso toward the ceiling. And you can keep the forearm on the thigh, or you can take the hand down to the pinky toe side of the foot. And again, spin your right tricep down toward the floor so that you have a nice external rotation of your right arm in the shoulder socket. Not that it means a whole lot, maybe, but that it's the safest way it can be. Inhale back to warrior two. And exhale, bring the hands down and move through Chaturanga. Inhale, pressing up. Exhale into downward facing dog. If you need a rest, you'll take your knees down and you'll take a rest, and you can always hit the pause button. Nice steady breathing. In and out through the nose. Inhale, float the right leg up. Exhale, step it through. We're going to do the same thing we did before. Back foot flat, come to warrior two, but we're going to speed it up a little. So exhale to warrior two, find your pose. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, bend the front knee. Inhale to come up. Exhale, leaning forward for side angle, either hand to the floor or forearm to thigh. Inhale, warrior two, back through. Exhale, windmill the arms down. So you could go to right to down dog and stay, or take Chaturanga. Inhaling up. And exhale to down dog. Left leg up, inhale. Exhale, step it through, back foot flat. Come on up on your warrior two. Exhale, finding your pose. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale, bend the left knee deeper. On the inhale, come back up. And as you exhale, lean forward for side angle. Forearm to thigh or hand to pinky toe side of the foot. Stretch your right arm in line with your right ear. Inhale, make your way up to warrior two. Exhale, windmill the arms down, either down dog to stay or taking your vinyasa, your choice. So inhaling up, exhaling back. We're going to do the same thing again. So right leg up, inhale. Exhale, lightly step it through, back foot flat, line up, heel to arch. Inhale, warrior two, right knee over ankle. Exhale there. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, bend the front knee a little bit more. Inhale, back up, leaning forward. Exhale, side angle, Parsvakonasana pose. Inhale, make your way back into Warrior Two. Exhale, and windmill the arms down, Chaturanga. Inhale, big breath in all the way into the front of the body. Exhale, stretch back to down dog. Left leg up, inhale. Exhale, step it through between the hands, back foot flat. Come on up to Warrior Two. Make sure your heel to arch, knee is over the ankle. Inhale to reverse. Exhale to rebend your left knee. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, lean forward, take the left forearm down or hand to the floor, right arm over, Parsvakonasana pose. Inhale, come back up, Warrior Two. Exhale, cartwheel the arms down, step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, pressing up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale and step it up on the inside of your right foot. So this is lizard pose. My knee's still over the ankle. I can stay right up on my hands like I just was, or you can come down to your forearms, or if you have a block handy, forearms on a block. So I'm keeping my back knee off the floor. You don't have to. You can always drop it down. But staying here for a few long breaths. We need nice open hips for grasshopper pose. So now I'm going to walk the right foot toward the center more. So I've got knee over ankle. And take my left elbow across for a twist. And just like we twist, every time you take an inhale, get nice and long through the spine. Every time you exhale, maybe revolve a little bit deeper if you can, although never forcing beyond your edge. So it's nice to find what the edge is, but not go past it. Inhale, release, walk your foot, so heel toe it over toward the left side of your mat, and we'll bend the knee for pigeon pose. Now, if pigeon pose doesn't work, instead lay down on your back, take thread the needle pose, that's a nice option, or any other hip opener that you know. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and exhale to come forward. So this pose, it's really important to not feel pain in your knee. If you have any pain in your knee, come out of the pose and take an alternate hip opening. I love the way this pose feels in my body. However, we always have to be really, really careful with it because we want to keep the knee safe. If the hips are tight, many times the knee is the path of least resistance in that equation. So the knee takes the pain of it. We want to avoid that. Come on up on your inhale, exhale. Either slide the left arm under the right or take left forearm to the floor, parallel to the front of the mat. Reach the right arm up or reach it all the way around. And I've found my toe back there. Maybe you will, or maybe you'll just rest your hand at the low back. Important part of it is just to roll the top shoulder back. Move the shoulder blades in toward each other slightly. Come on back to center on your inhale. Walk yourself up. As you exhale, you're going to lean over onto your right hip and swing your left leg all the way to the front and cross it over the right. Take your left hand behind you. Reach your right arm up on your inhale nice and tall. And then exhale, take it across to twist, Ardha Matsyendrasana. So as you inhale again, you'll lengthen. Here's a variation where the arm is underneath the leg. That's another variation, and I've clasped my hand behind my back. And every time I inhale, sit up tall. Another variation, I can take the arm all the way toward the outside of my left leg and maybe hold on to my foot over there. But be careful. See, I have a little bend in my elbow, and I do that on purpose so that I don't hyperextend my elbow. And you really have to lean forward a little bit to get the length unless you got super long arms. Inhale, come back to center. And now we're just going to cradle the left leg and just rock slightly, gently side to side. So I'm just holding the leg in my arms like a cradling, rocking like a little baby, holding it there. And then I'll take it. I would like to put my foot on the outside of my arm as I turn to the right side of my mat. So this is opening my hip and putting a twist with it, which will be in our final challenge pose of grasshopper. I'm a little nervous at this point because my foot is on my arm and it's sliding because I'm sweaty. And I know when we get to the final pose, that's going to be an issue. So cross the ankles, press down, pick up, step or jump back through chaturanga. Inhale to press up and exhale back to down dog, and we'll do the other side. So left leg floats up on your inhale. Exhale and step it through by the left hand. Bring your hands on the inside, and your back knee can be up or down, whatever you choose. Lengthen the spine here. Keep your hands there, or take your forearms down to the mat, or put your forearms on top of your block. If your knee goes out to the side, so if my left knee goes off to the side a bit, I want to turn my left toes to line up with it. So it's always a good practice to line up your knee over your ankle, and then also in line with your second toe whenever the knee is bent. That's usually the safest place for the knee. I'm reaching through the back leg, keeping the belly lifted. Inhale to come up. I heel-toed over a little toward the center of my mat. And then exhale for low lunge. I'm going to bring my right elbow across, palms toward my center of the chest. Inhale, get a little length, lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, and twisting a little deeper. Keep the belly pulled in and check in with your breath in this twist. Make sure that your inhales and your exhales are still nice and equal. Unwinding, I'm going to heel toe a little bit further to the right. Bend the knee for pigeon, Eka Pada Pavritta pose. Inhale, lengthening the spine. And exhale to fold forward. Or, see, I just brought the leg forward to show double pigeon. So again, if your knee bothers you on this side, you don't do it. You do a different hip opener. You could do the double pigeon I just showed, or the thread the needle I showed on the other side. Careful of the knee. Don't want to mess with that. So as you're in your hip opener, you might not be lying all the way onto the mat. I didn't lie on the mat for a very long time, so you might be all the way up. So again, it doesn't matter how deep you get into a stretch as long as you feel a stretch. And hips can be tricky. Sometimes we hold emotions in the hips that we're not even aware were a part of our reality. And then I remember when I first started doing yoga, came into this pose, cried every single time. All right, so coming up, I got my right forearm parallel with the front of the mat, left arm reaching up, or slide the right arm all the way through. So I'm on my shoulder, left arm behind, either resting at the low back or reaching around and finding the toe back there, so I'm twisted. So that's the thing about our yoga practice, is it connects our mind and our body. So if you have some sort of emotional release on your mat, I think it's a great thing. Come on back to center, walk yourself up, roll to your left hip, and swing your right leg around. Sit up tall on your inhale, lengthen, exhale, take your left elbow across and twist, and then take the variation that you like. So you can stay with this, you can put the arm through, or you can take the arm a little bit further forward and take it to the outside of your right foot. So as part of just kind of our practice, and if we don't have an emotional release during our practice, that's okay too. So it's kind of part of Abhyasa and Vairagya. We're showing up, we're doing our best, and then we leave the results up to whatever they'll be. We don't have to try and control any of that. So coming back to center, and then cradling your right leg. We're going to cradle rock a little bit like a little baby, getting a nice little stretch, and then I take it out to the side, and I'm going to press my forearm onto the sole of my foot. And again, I'm even a little more nervous on this side because I'm even sweatier. My foot is not staying there. So yours may or may not too. If you have a towel handy, grab it. This is just a little part of what our little challenge pose will be. It's involved in it. So cross the ankles, pick up, step or float back into chaturanga. Inhaling, press up. Exhaling to downward facing dog. And again, if you want a break, you just take the knees down, take a break. Always your option. Look forward, bend your knees, step or hop, feet to hands. And we'll reach all the way up, lengthen, and exhale, Samastitihi. And this is another little way that we'll prepare. Bend the knees, come to chair pose, reach up. As you exhale, I'm going to take my left ankle just above my right knee like an Utkatasana, but then I'm going to take my left elbow and bring it across to the sole of that foot. So I'm in a prayer twist, but my elbow is resting on the sole of the foot. And my knees are bent like a chair pose, like an Utkatasana. So it's a hip opener, twist, and Utkatasana. Release that, take a nice little forward fold, and then bend the knees again for Utkatasana chair pose. Sit the hips back, take your right ankle above the left knee, sitting back, and then your right elbow across. You're going to take the forearm to the tricep to the outside of the sole of the foot, pressing your palms together. So it's a little tricky. It's a little hard to balance this way, and you might wobble, you might fall out of it, and if you do, no worries. Push the pause button, try it again, or just continue, and maybe you'll get it the next time easier. Folding forward to release. And then bend the knees again, chair pose. Sit back into your imaginary chair. Bring your hands down for Bakasana. So we're going to shift the weight forward. Take your knees as high up toward the armpits as you can. And shifting the weight forward, round the upper back a little bit. Press away from the floor. Bring your feet together and up towards your hips as much as they will. Step or float back, Chaturanga. Inhaling into up dog. Exhaling back, down dog. Right leg up, inhale. Exhale, step it through. Stay on the ball of the back foot. And then we're just going to spin that back foot flat, come right into warrior one. So pull the right hip back and send the left hip forward. And then take the left elbow across for a twist. So this is called Pavritta Galvasana, twisted side angle. So as I'm taking my twist, I try to pull my right hip back as best I can, and I try to press down through the outer edge of the back foot. I can keep the prayer twist, or I can take the left hand down to the pinky toe side of the right foot, extend your right arm in line with your ear, just like the regular Parsvakonasana pose. So it's a very strong twist. Release, coming down. Now, if your back knee bothered you at all in that pose, then pick up your back heel. You don't have to keep it flat. It's a little bit easier if the back heel is up. Left leg up, inhale. Exhale, step it through. I'm lined up front heel with back heel. Pull the left hip back, send the right hip forward. I try to square up my hips to the front. And then lean forward, get a little length there, and then take your right elbow across, pressing the palms toward each other. Widen across the collarbones, squeezing the shoulder blades toward each other. And again, any discomfort in the back knee, pick up your back heel. You could stay with the prayer twist, or you could take your right hand to the pinky toe side of the left foot and stretch out through the left arm. So every time you inhale, see if you can get a length. Every time you exhale, see if you can twist a little bit more. And again, I'm still trying to twist from the waist up in this pose, but it's much harder than it was when we were sitting in the beginning of class. So stepping back through Chaturanga. Inhale, pressing up. And exhale back. Let's take the knees down for a little break. Just a short child's pose to reconnect with the breath, reconnect with the idea of determined effort coupled with surrender. So it's a lovely idea that we can use in our yoga practice. It's a lovely idea that we can use outside of our yoga practice. Let's make our way back to down dog. Look up, step or hop the feet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Press down through the feet, rise up on your inhale, and exhale, Samastitihi. Okay, I think we're ready for grasshopper pose. So I'm super sweaty. I'm trying to wipe off all the sweat here as best I can. And then we'll start by lifting up the right leg. I'm trying to wipe my arms off too because I got to put my foot on my arm. Right leg up. And flex the ankle of the right foot. So just like we did before, I'm going to take that right arm across and press it right into the sole of the foot. But this time, I got my palms pressing to the floor. So I leaned over. And then as I lean over, I pick up the left leg and try to stretch it straight out to the side. So it's hard to see, but my right foot is basically standing right on top of my tricep. That's why it's real easy to slip if you're sweaty. So we're going to do one more time. Same leg. Right leg across, right above the left knee. Start to bend your knees. Take your right elbow across and hook your tricep right above the sole of your foot. So when you get your hands down here, I'm stepping right on my tricep. And then I shift the weight forward like an arm balance. And then the bottom leg just lifts up and straight to the front of the mat. And then when I'm ready to release it, I can just take that leg back down. So if you want to practice that side a little bit more, push the pause button. You can try it again. Otherwise, we'll do the other side. So I'm going to try to get the sweat off again. And I sweat a lot, in case you didn't notice. Left ankle above right knee. Flex the ankle here. so that protects the knee as well. I'm going to take my left elbow across and try to get the tricep right underneath my sole of the foot. Lean forward, and then I pick up the left leg and extend that leg all the way out to the side, and then I lost it a little bit, but then I picked it back up. So try kind of a strong finish, and then take it back and to center again. And one more time. So left ankle, so I wiped off the bottom of my foot, I wiped off my arms. If you have a towel, that works better. Left ankle above the right knee, leaning forward. Take your left elbow across and put the sole of your foot just above your elbow. Let your elbows bend a little bit back like chaturanga elbows, and then take your leg, extend it right out to the side. And when you're ready to come down, you'll just set that leg back down and release it. And then come back to Samastitihi. So that was me practicing Abhyasa and Vairagya. I worked hard as I could, and then I let go of the results. So yeah, I was struggling a bit. I was sweaty. I hadn't done that pose in a while. We're moving through a vinyasa now. I wobbled. I fell out a little bit. I still like myself. Look forward, step or hop through, and sit. And we'll lie all the way back for bridge pose as we start to cool ourselves down. So that grasshopper pose, it's a challenge pose. It has hip opening, it has a twist, it has an arm balance. So we're coming into bridge pose now. Roll the shoulders under, clasp your hands. Make sure the outer edges of your feet stay parallel and keep your chin away from your chest as you reach the tailbone to the backs of the knees. So come on down to rest, soles of feet together, knees apart, little Supta Baddha Konasana, one of my favorites. Every time we come into a back bend, we can really start to feel the blood pumping, the energy moving through the body. The second one, back into bridge, or you can take your hands up by your ears, fingertips face the heels. Line up your elbows right above your wrists and then start to press up. Make sure as well that your elbows don't splay out to the sides. Keep your elbows parallel and your upper arms parallel. Breathing, when you're ready to come down, you'll take the chin into the chest and lower down onto the shoulders so that you don't lower right onto your head. Soles of feet together, knees apart to rest. Take a few nice rounds of breath, feeling that open heart energy. So you can put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And let's do one more. Feet parallel, outer edges of the feet parallel, arms by your sides for bridge or up by the ears. Make sure that your elbows stay parallel, wrists under elbows, press up, and get as long as you can. So we're opening the whole front of the body, reach your tailbone to the backs of the knees, press your chest toward the wall that your eyes are looking at or toward the back of your mat. And then try to get long, coming down chin to chest first, come down, and then hug your knees in. Rock a little side to side. Give your low back a nice little massage. And then begin to rock yourself up and down the spine, back and forth. Extend the legs. Pull your toes back to firm your legs. Sitting up tall in Dandasana pose for a moment. Drop your chin a little. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge from your hips to come forward. Inhale to lengthen the spine. And exhale to extend. So reaching the crown of the head toward your feet. And don't worry about getting in deep. Again, get a stretch. That's what's important. Don't have to reach your feet. You can hold your arms. You can use a strap. So, yeah, it's true that I do sweat a fair amount. But I also want you to know that in our shala this day, it was about 90 degrees. So that makes a difference as well. But I don't mind sweating. I think it's good. Soften the shoulder blades away from the ears. Continue to lengthen through the spine. Inhale, lift your head. And exhale to release. And then roll yourself down. Let's take the arms to a T. And drop your knees off to the left and turn and look over your right shoulder for a nice gentle twist. If you want it a little deeper, cross your right knee over your left knee. So just taking your nice long Ujjayi breaths. Inhale the knees to center. Exhale to the other side. Turn to look over the left shoulder unless it bothers your neck. Cross the left knee over the right for a deeper twist. Steady, slow inhales and exhales. And then back to center, give the knees a hug. Lengthen your tailbone toward the floor. And then we'll make our way into Savasana. Yay, our final resting pose. So as you come into Savasana, let your feet flop open, hips width apart, maybe a little bit wider with the legs. Reach your tailbone toward the heels. Draw your shoulder blades down toward the waist, arms by your sides with the palms up. And now relax. Relax, relax, relax. If you're not comfortable in this position, maybe bend the knees, feet onto the floor, or whatever you need to do so you can feel like you can just surrender. Just surrender and relax. Let your body be so, so heavy. Feel the connection of your body to the earth. Quiet mind, quiet body, Savasana. While we're here, I'm going to read our quote. This is from Theodore Roosevelt, and it's from a speech that he gave in Paris on April 23rd, 1910, and it's sometimes referred to as the man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly. Take a few nice long breaths here. Begin to reawaken your body. And then bend your knees and roll off to your right side, pausing for gratitude, pausing for all of our blessings, and then press yourself up into a comfortable seated position, bringing the hands together at your heart center. Honoring, respecting yourself, allowing yourself to take risks. Hands to the forehead to remind us to have clear and loving thoughts. Hands to the heart to remind us to have clear and loving intentions. Hands to the mouth to remind us to have clear and loving communications. Namaste. Abhyasa, beautiful practice. Vairagya, non-attachment. If there's something that you want to do, now is the time for you to dare greatly, and I really encourage you to do it. Follow your dreams. And if you would like to follow me for a yoga retreat in Mexico, Isla Mujeres, and you have to be a woman for this one. This is a ladies' retreat, February 19th through the 25th. Please message me for information, and I will be happy to send it to you. I would love for you to join us. And can't thank you enough for donations. We're saving for a computer, so everything helps. Please, please have a wonderful day.